Raider Nation, we are back with another episode of Raiders Latest. We've made some great free agency moves. You've seen it slow down after that initial rush, but there is still work to be done. You should never be happy with your team's roster. There's always ways to improve it. The Raiders still have some holes. We still have some young players. We have some unproven players that have had issues in the past that we should look to bring in competition and see what we can do. We always need to improve our roster. We're not a playoff team yet. We're going to get there in a year or two. Right now, we got to get these guys that can prove it, get them in the door, and make these rookies and these younger players work for their next position and their starting job. Now, my number one concern is safety. Polamalu had a down year. He lacked in coverage. He had missed tackles. He was beaten zone. He was beaten man. His run defense didn't look as good. He had an overall down year. Now, being at 6'4", 200 plus, he's a massive safety. He's more of a box strong safety, not the best in coverage. So we need somebody who can play center field. We need somebody who can be a free safety for us, especially in those third down situations. It's not going to beat over the top. That's not going to give up multiple completions or have a ridiculously high pass completion and quarterback rating against them, again, which Polamalu did. Now, I'm not saying Polamalu will not lose his starting job. It's his to lose. But if we get a couple guys in to compete with him, I think it'll make him better, and it'll put him in better situational football to where on those third and longs, maybe we bring in a safety who's a little bit better on coverage. When it's third and short, maybe you leave him in. But one of the guys, the safeties have been going off the free agent list pretty hot and heavy. Only a few guys left that I really look at. The first one would be Donovan Wilson from the Cowboys. 6 foot, 200 pounds, runs like a 4.5 40. Not super big, not super fast. He is a decent tackler, started 15 games last year, but you can bring him on a cheaper 2 to 3 year deal, prove a deal, probably the 2 year, $3 to $5 million range to compete with Polamalu. He is a better coverage safety than Polamalu. He's played multiple positions, but he is a true free safety. I would really like to see them bring somebody in that we currently don't have on our roster to compete with Polamalu. Now, the other one, Raider Nation's going to hate me for this one. If you remember Obi Melanfo, he was our safety we drafted out of UConn. His little brother's now in the NFL. His little brother, big, strong, fast, and long and athletic, just like Big Bro. But he's been in the NFL for more than his older brother lasted. He's only 26. He last played with the Dolphins. He was drafted by Detroit Lions. He's 6'2", 200 plus, has 4.4 speed. We can get him on a 2-year deal, like $7 to $8 million, relatively cheap. He's played free safety, strong safety. You can rotate him in. He would be more of a hybrid player, just like Polamalu, but he did have 50-plus tackles last year. I think it would be a good fit for us to bring him in. He has kind of the same style of Polamalu, and you can mix up that playing time, have him cover. I think he is a little bit better in coverage than Polamalu is. But hey, it's all about bringing in competition. It's all about bringing in these young players. No spot is ever guaranteed. Even Max Crosby's spot, he takes a tank. He falls down. He's not as good. There's always some younger guy that's strong, healthy, big, fast, and hungry that wants your spot. I think it's good to bring in competition. Now, this is kind of the touchy area. We obviously have 3 really young offensive linemen and Rodgers, Grant, and Glaze. Glaze had a down year. Rodgers and Grant didn't play too much. Rodgers did have spurts. We know Pete Carroll doesn't like rookies. Don't know why he didn't play over Meredith or Kappa to get some playing time, but he did not get to play. He is unproven. Grant, the same thing. Very, very limited playing time, even less so than Rodgers, unproven second-year player. Glaze, on the other hand, had a huge step back. I see him more as a guard than a right tackle in NFL. We could get by with him at right tackle with better scheme as well as better play calling and offensive play calling throughout the year. I would see him giving up probably 5-6 sacks starting with Kubiak's offense versus where he gave 10 plus under Pete Carroll and Chip Kelly's offense, which was absolutely horrible. But then you have Meredith too, who's a guard, who's an undersized guard, tried playing center last year, didn't really work out. But you got 4 guys competing for 2 positions. So it just depends if you want to bring in a free agent to compete with those guys, or you're like, hey, we just spent all these draft picks the past 3 years on the offensive line. Let's see how it plays out. So a lot of the free agents are gone. I said like Illuminor, I said other offensive linemen would be good, but the one that's left is Jonah Williams. He could be getting a 1-year, $6 to $8 million deal, maybe even a little less than 6 if you give it with incentives that he's going to start, he's going to play, incentivized if he gets up, less than so many sacks, he plays so many plays, makes the Pro Bowl, etc. But as far as tackles go, that's probably the only right tackle, unless you take a left tackle and transfer him over to right. That is a quality starter in the NFL. He's had some injury problems. Obviously, Kyler Murray's running around like a toddler back there, giving up sacks and stuff and running into coverage. So it's not his entire fault that he gave up as many sacks he did last year, but I can see him as a big, strong right tackle that will bridge some of these rookies for a year or two. I think it'd be a good fit. I think it'd be a smart move to get him. That should be our next target in free agency. Now comes the defense. So with our defense, you got to understand, we got a lot of young players. We got a lot of rotational players. We have Wilson. We have Kuntz on a prove-it deal. We have Booker. We signed the 2 linebackers. We got Kwity Paye. We got Jonah Lalu. So we got all these guys going to be rotational. Do you want to bring in more depth? Do you want to bring in more players that have proven track record of playing above average, starting in the NFL, being able to get to the quarterback? It depends what you want. But here's a couple options. Same thing. Go with old players, people you're familiar with, people you know. Jihad Ward was a 2nd-round pick for us out of Illinois. He played for John Gruden, was released, never really had the career we thought he would. He is a decent enough pass rusher. He had 5 sacks last year as defensive lineman with the Titans. He only made $1.4 million. He is a cheap rotational option. If you pay $2 million and you get 4 or 5 sacks, that is a win. You would put him down, on 3rd and long, rotational player, get some of those players like Kuntz and Wilson a rest so they have better chances of rushing the passer on the 3rd down options, or they're fresh on 1st down. I think it'd be a decent pickup. It'd be cheap. He'd be rotation. He can be a standing defensive end, outside linebacker, or he can put his hand in the dirt. He can do all 3. That's why I think that versatility would work well for us. Now, if you want to go veteran, there's a couple people we can do. Cam Jordan, he's going to cost more. Had 10 sacks last year. I do not expect him to reduce that or replicate that in 2026. He is getting old. He is an aging vet. He can come in on a $7 to $8 million deal, maybe with some incentives, have it a little bit lower. Been there, done that. Played multiple positions. Is a great veteran presence. Would be great to help educate Max Crosby on how to play better, what to look for, how to read. People forget these 7, 8, 10, 12-year veterans that have 100 sacks. That's an elite pass rusher. He was an elite pass rusher for many, many years and one of the best defensive players on the Saints. I think Wilson, Kuntz, Paye, Crosby, all can learn from him. That $8 million is a drop in the bucket, what he brings to the table. It's the same thing as Lindenbaum. He can be that anchor, that vet presence, that guy that has played at an elite level and can educate the quarterback like a center would do. Cam Jordan can educate our younger linemen, can educate people that we get in the draft, educate these linebackers on how to read, educate these defensive linemen on what works on certain techniques, certain pass rushes. Hey, this player is susceptible to bull. This one's susceptible to spin. This one has issues with arm slaps. I think that right there is worth more than enough for $8 million on a 1-year deal. Even give him like a 2-12 and just have a player option or a team option with incentives would work great for us. I think he'd be a 5-6 sack guy in a rotation, which would be good. The other one, I'm not completely sold on Booker Butler as nose tackle. I think we need a true nose. We need somebody that's going to eat blocks, be there, play 30% of the snaps, 40% of the snaps that we can rotate those defensive linemen in. Billings, the nose tackle from the Bears. He did play for us again in 2022, so we are going back to some of these old roots. We've seen these guys, seen them on tape, see how they played. Billings started 14 games last year, had 31 tackles. He's a block eater. He's going to free up guys like Quay Walker. He's going to free up guys, like Nakobe Dean to get those sacks. more often than not, that guy will be double teamed or chipped at the very least. He can take 2 blocks. He's 330 pounds, short to the ground. He's like a little bit over 6 foot. That's just a wall to move. You get him in there, hit the center. One of the guards is going to have a chip. Then all of a sudden you got 2-on-1. That means you're going to have one guy free up front. That's what we need. A block eater, defensive tackle. Somebody that's going to be forcefully double teamed 80+% of the time. And that's one of the guys who can do it. Let me know what you think about these free agencies. These would be the cheaper options to sign, rotate in. We are working with limited cap space. Remember to like, subscribe, and share. And always, let's go Raiders! See y'all tomorrow.